Okay, guys, Tim Hendricks here, 20K Senior Executive Press Team. I've got some amazing folks on the line. We've got 2.5 Get team member, really focused on mill and, a whole heck of a lot beyond that in terms of the marketing plan, but focused on really taking the country of Trinidad and Tobago to the next level. Excuse me, in terms of the Herbalife Nutrition brand, in terms of the systematic approach, really being young and vibrant. We've got a method here that does two things, right? Elevates the brand and brings people together and gets so many things firing that we all know. So many of you guys, to set this up, have done your listening from America, you're listening from EU, you're listening from TNT, and you've done things to build your business, or maybe you're brand new and your mentors put you on to check this out, where you think you'll like to do something that's more of a competition, right? Where we can bring people together from all over. Many of you guys have done things online, small groups, big group challenges in your homes, your clubs, offices, things like that, now online, right? So just realize this is an extension of that. This brings that formula. We would call it the certain things in the certain way, right? What makes an event work? What makes, like, if we look at the guts behind all the results, what is going on? This here, what you're about to learn, has those specific guts. Anil showed it to me. Amazing when I was at he and Kenita's place there in Port of Spain, Trinidad, just about a week ago. And I said, man, this is amazing. Would you please come on and lay this training down that you're giving to your guys on video, right? So we can record. And he said, absolutely. So without further ado, guys, I want you guys to understand this 4-week challenge concept. You guys have done the 30-day. You guys have done the 90-day. We've done 8 weeks. We've done, like I said, our group is well-versed in the components of a challenge. We've done it many, many ways. Fitness, weight loss driven, body transformation driven. What did we have? 1,200 people in Detroit for the body transformation challenge payout for our last 12-week challenge that we did as an STS unit. So check this out. Such a cool twist, such a cool way to duplicate. So without further ado, I want to hand it over to my good friend and a guy who I've got a lot of respect for in terms of what he and his wife are doing in the market. As I said, 2.5 Get team for now. Anil James. Anil, take it away, man. Thanks for being here with us.
Hey, Tim. Thanks for inviting me onto the call. So my name is Anil James, hailing from Trinidad and Tobago. 2.5 Get started Herbalife off of a whim. Friend used the product, he got results, and I was struggling with my results. So he's like, "Yo, try it." I was hesitant to do at first, but within the first month, got some amazing results. Waistline moved from 34 to 32. Skin cleanup, energy levels went up, and I was feeling amazing. And out of that result, a business emerged for me, and I have never turned back from then to now. Now, the mindset of what we're going to share today is about adding value to the marketplace. Tim spoke about the 4-week challenge. We have started a 4-week body transformation challenge in Trinidad and Tobago with hopes of adding more value, getting more coaches involved, and actually providing a support system for clients to get results, keep results, and to learn more about nutrition. Okay, we give out some amazing prizes, and this is what we need to do in our country, which is add more value. We are living in a third world country, and it takes a little more to actually get our market to tick and to get people to do things that they won't normally do. All right. So we're going to jump right into it. So adding value to clients. All right. We need to understand the market we are in, which is a third world market. We need to understand how it ticks, basically. Our market runs on hype. Basically, hearsay, they say. So in Trinidad, in our culture, and probably other third world countries, it works on basically word of mouth. This is the next trend. This is the next part. Everybody's going to jump on it. What's trending? Once it's not trending, as Trinidadians or people in a third world country, we don't want to be a part of it. So we need to know what's trending. Third world mentality, and in Trinidad, value for money. Trinis spend where they see value. A new Jordan could come out. A Jordan could cost $2,500, $3,000. a Trinidadian will still go and buy the Jordan because they see the value in spending $3,000. A party could come out, the ticket could be $1,000 TT. Then they would have to pay money for an outfit. They would spend money on that because they see the value in it. And basically, to add more value to our market, we need to show the value in what we do. Information driven, we need to give information even if they themselves don't understand the information being given. Okay, so just keep those key points in mind moving forward, and it's going to be fine. So we're going to go forward some more. How to effectively sell to our market. Presentation is everything, guys. Like when I mean everything, everything. Based on how you approach somebody in the streets. Ensure that you're branded, one. Ensure that you are clean, you're not smelling, you know, not right. Your facial hair is trimmed, you're attired properly. Presentation is everything. Think about yourself in that situation and think about how would you like someone to approach you? Would you approach you in the manner in which you are right now, and would you be responsive? The power of persuasion while doing a profile or trying to get someone involved in what you do, you need to understand the power of persuasion. And this is something I did some research on that I'm going to share what I found, and what I found that works for me is incorporating the power of persuasion in your profiles. All right. Understanding basic nutritional needs, we need to touch that because you need to understand what to tell your clients for them to get to understand what they need so that you could have a forever client. Because remember, Herbalife is not for weight loss, it's good nutrition, and understanding how to incorporate good nutrition into your day-to-day is going to add so much more value. Knowing your products, you need to know the products you have at hand. You need to know it like the back of your hand. You can't be taking something and not understand what's in it and what's the usage and what's for. Showing value. You need to show the client the value of not just the product, but the value of having you as a coach and how to basically close a sale. And a lot of times, what I've found, a lot of coaches, they tend to be unsure as to how to close a sale with a client and the things to never say. All right. So we're going to cover that as well today. So let's jump right into it. We're going to go to the next slide. The power of persuasion. Now you need to remember this, guys. Surprising is key. When I mean it's key, reciprocity, the obligation to give when you receive. So basically what I do when I do a profile, coming down to the end of the profile, I simply tell clients, if you get started today on a full program, I'm going to give you a free shaker cup. So automatically, I'm going to plant a seed in their mind that, I'm going to get started on a full program so that I could get that free shaker cup. The word FREE does so much to a human being mind. You would be surprised the type of things they would do because they hear free. All right? So remember that. The obligation to give when received. Be the first to give a gift. Scarcity. People want more of the things they can't have and less of the things they could. So take, for instance, I draw reference to Jordans, sneakers. It does not matter the price. They just want to say, I could buy it and you can't buy it. I could purchase a Jordan and you can't purchase a Jordan. So I have it and you don't have it. So you must point out what is unique and what they stand to lose, not the benefits. The fear of loss. So what they stand to lose is you as a coach, because there's a lot of people doing Herbalife out there. There's a lot of people selling products, but they basically selling a product without a service, without a system, without anything. They just sling products, and you don't want one of your clients to fall into that bracket. So what you need to show to them is what they stand to lose, which is you. Third point, authority. It's simple. People will always follow credible and knowledgeable people. So you need to keep in mind when you're doing a profile or when you're talking to somebody about what you do, they don't know what a senior consultant is, what a qualified producer is, what a supervisor is. They don't know any levels in the marketing plan. But when you make mention to your level in the marketing plan, you need to say it with conviction. I am a senior consultant with the company. I am a qualified producer. You need to say that with conviction. If you're in a nutrition club or you're home or you're around anybody that could validate you, have your certificates around, have people around validate you if there are people, in the space or the environment to do so. All right. Consistency, looking for and asking for small commitments that could be made. Now, for me, in the power of persuasion, I tend to give my clients two options. One of the options is you could either get started on a 21-day program or you could be involved in the 4-week challenge. Now, for the 21-day program, why 21 days? It takes 21 days to break old eating habits, to develop new eating habits. So what I tell my clients, after you complete the 21-day program or the 4-week challenge, I'm going to invite you to either online call, which is the HOM, or whatever opportunity meeting you have, so that we could share more about this company to you, to allow you the opportunity to now get a 25% discount. Thereafter, the points you accumulate on each purchase, your discounts could move from 25% all the way up to 50%. So basically, immediately what I'm doing is getting them to commit to either a 21-day or the 4-week challenge. I am securing my second sale off the bat. Remember, if a client is on a weight loss program, remember they're going to be using the shake twice a day. So that being said, I'm securing my second purchase. So I'm letting them know by the 13th day, you're going to have to replenish. So for 21 days, you know that canister shake is not going to take you through on a weight loss program, so they need to repurchase. So the mindset is securing the second purchase. So looking for small commitments, getting them to post on social media, drinking the shakes, talking to friends and family members, giving you a list of contacts of people that it's going to add value to. Okay, so we cover that. We're going to move on to the next slide. So the next slide goes, liking. Remember, guys, people don't buy the product, they buy you. So what I do in my profile while going through the profile, a lot of times I get referrals. And the referrals I get is people that I've never met in my entire life. So coming to me, this is somebody I don't know at all. I tend to compliment them on the clothes, get them to like me in the profile. I'd make little jokes to get them warming up to me. And the more they warm up to me, is the easier it is for me to actually make a purchase. So all this falls under the power of persuasion, getting the person to like you. The sale thereafter is going to come. Consensus. People who look at the actions of others to determine their own. So what I tend to do, like today I do my profiles in groups. I try not to do one wellness profile. I tend to group 3 and 4 and even more people in one space to do one wellness profile to teach people how to eat. And like today, doing the profile on the 2 guys, one person was kind of hesitant to get started based on what she was, hearing from other people about Herbalife. But the guy, after doing the profile, he got started immediately, which caused a ripple effect. The woman saying, well, I'm not going to get paid until Friday, so I want to get started Friday. And every time I do it like that, everybody around the table tends to start, or they start the following week based on what one person would say. They set the tone for everyone else. So people look at the actions of others to determine their own. All right. So let's really get into it. How to do an effective evaluation. All right, guys. So these are things you need to keep in mind. We're going to go to the next slide. These are things you need to keep in mind. All right. Be sure to tell them about yourself. And when I say tell them about yourself with conviction. Don't sound like you're unsure about your level in the marketing plan. People pick up on that and they would be like, this person don't know what they're talking. Speak with conviction. If you have pictures and results, the 4-week challenge is something awesome to use. A tool based on every month, there's a bunch of people getting results. Use other people's pictures and their stories. So being a part of that 4-week challenge, you have the opportunity to grab all of these photos of local people to show these are the people getting results. All right. Now, you need to always make the profile about the client and make the product the last thing. This is just how our market works. When the client believes the profile is about them rather than selling them a product, it makes it easier for them to purchase because it was solely based on them. And getting referrals from them is going to come like, nothing. So ask them, what they want to achieve and explain to them it's not going to happen overnight. The objective is to get the clients to understand that Herbalife is food and it could basically add value to the day to day. You don't want the client to think that this is just for weight loss. They lose 5, 10 pounds and they come off. You basically want to have a client for life. So you need to get them to understand that this is food. Anybody could use it. It adds value. All right. So once you keep those things in mind, jumping into the profile and the format for the profile, if you could take a picture of your screen, do so. This is the format that I use. You could always add your own twist to this format, and adding your own twist to this format, meaning putting your own personality onto it, it's going to add so much value. So we're going to go through each point so you can get to understand how to do this profile. So my goal basically is to get them started on a full program all the time. So how I go into the full profile, these is the point forms I go through. Number one, I talk about protein. So simple. Basically tell them proteins is something they call a macronutrient. You need it in large amounts on a daily basis. Macro simply means large. Now, yes, there are two other macronutrients, which is carbohydrates and fats, but proteins is the number one building block to the human body. So this is the 6 things they need to keep. And while I do these 6 things, I put up my fingers. So I basically get them drawn in. I don't want their mind wandering all over. To ensure that it's about them, I put 6 fingers up and I start a countdown. The number one building block to the human body is proteins. It's the only thing that is going to help you to build muscle. The more muscle you build is the more fat you burn. Protein keeps you fuller longer. On a daily basis, once you have that protein estimator, you're going to find exactly how much proteins your clients need at the particular point in time. And you could only take in up to 40 grams of that protein in one meal. So when I explain those 4 things, I just recite it with them. So the number one building block to the human body is, and they're going to tell me proteins. Proteins is the only thing that helps you to build. You're going to say muscle. The more muscle you build is the more fat you burn. And then I just go through the 6 points with the individuals. So they're going to be interacting with me. So I have you now. You're learning. So it's about the client. All right? Why people are always tired and fatigued. This is something plaguing the society today. I talk about foods. Foods today is actually depleted of the valid nutrients the body needs. 70% of all doctor visits is from diet-related conditions. 50% of them, is actually from diet-related conditions. And as soon as you go by the doctor tends to say, stay away from this, stay away from that, cut back, cut back, cut back. It's based on the foods and the type of foods they eat. So I get the clients to understand foods today is not like back in the day. The body does 3 things when you go to bed at night. It rebuilds, repairs, and recovers. And how these functions take place is based on the foods they would have eaten throughout the day. Now, if they didn't feed the body right, and the body goes into that state of REM sleep where it's now fishing for vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, proteins, and everything else it would need to rebuild, repair, and recover, and it's actually not in the meals, the body wouldn't fully rejuvenate. So a lot of times they get up in the morning feeling tired and fatigued, and they'll be shaking their head like, yeah. I'll say like, so you sleep 8 hours, you're still tired. Your alarm clock going off, you're hitting snooze, you're rolling off the bed. Your energy level sometimes during the day just simply depletes, and it's just basically from those foods. And then I would go on to explain to them, this is why you'd find all of these all organic stores popping up all over the place. More and more people are aware of what's in foods, so they try to find alternatives to get what they're not getting from foods back into their body. This is why supplementation in today's society is a must. And you could even go further by breaking down the foods. I just say in a very short time, chicken and cattle, they're big because they're pumping anabolics in the grains and the feeds. Fish, they usually said, used to be the cleaner meat. But they did studies showing the sea has a high content of mercury, so the bigger the fish, more mercury. You look at stuff they bring in like the apples, grapes, pears, broccolis, and all these foods, they spray with chemicals. But to preserve these foods, they coat them with wax, and the wax they put on the foods is almost the same wax they use to embalm human bodies. In shipping, these said foods are exposed to diesels and fumes. We ingest that on a day-to-day basis. If you're going to the grocery stores, everything on the shelves is processed foods, and they basically put trans fats and saturated fats in these foods to give it shelf life, which puts bad cholesterol in your system. And then when you look at crops, local crops not even sitting in the ground the recommended amount of time because of the high demand for foods and farmers, wanting a faster turnover, they spray the chemicals, the pesticides, and the same chemicals and pesticides they now spray on the crops actually falling on the soil, and the soil is losing the mineral. So this gets the client to better understand why supplementation is key today. Because yes, you could be feeding your body, but you're full in your belly, but you're not feeding your body. And that's the problem we face with today. So I simply draw reference to a car. This is an analogy you could do to get your clients to better understand. Picture you purchased $1 million vehicle. You left the dealership with the vehicle. On your way home, the gas light comes on. So obviously, you'd have to put gas. Now, when you reach into the gas station and you open the gas tank cover, it says premium fuel only in red. You would not put super or diesel because the vehicle would ping, the engine would stutter, and it's not going to function the way it should. Now, if there's a woman in the profile, this is where I crack my little joke. I would say, I'm not being a sexist, but most women, don't know what a radiator is. They're going to laugh. It's obvious. Picture you empty all the coolant out the radiator and you go to bed at night. You wake up the next morning and start the vehicle. It will start, it will drive, but it will quickly overheat and mash up. And then I would ask the question, would you do it to $1 million vehicle? They're going to say no. And I say, so let's compare the body to the vehicle. Getting up in the morning and not having breakfast or not having breakfast on time is the same as driving the vehicle with no water in the radiator. You're basically forcing your body to function at full capacity with nothing in it. So you're making yourself susceptible and prone to diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. That needs to stop. Skipping meals and taking too long to eat is basically the same, So then we get them to understand filling the belly rather than feeding the body just like the car. Your body has requirements, 21 essential vitamins and minerals, 140 nutrients. And the vehicle needs premium fuel to run smoothly. If you put super or diesel, it's going to ping, it's going to stutter. Think about a Trinidadian breakfast. Doubles, pie, fried bake, bread and egg, bread and cheese, the cereals. These are the same foods that are depleted of the valid nutrients. So you basically fill your belly without feeding your body. So a lot of times you're running out of steam during the day, struggling with energy, feeling flat, and you're grumpy because of that. So that needs to change. So immediately they understand the importance of breakfast, they understand why they need to supplement, and they understand what needs to be done. So then I'm going to talk about the villi. Why I talk about the villi? Having a clean, functioning villi is actually responsible for the absorption of nutrients, one, and it actually helps you to lose weight much faster. Now, what the villi is a finger-like projection on the walls of the small intestines. It moves really quickly to actually help your body absorb nutrients in the correct quantities and proportions. But based on age and the type of foods we eat, a layer of plaque forms on that villi. So picture you have finger-like projections. You drop your hands down and you have your fingers moving really, really quickly. Now with that plaque developing, the villi tends to slow down. So the slower the villi goes is the less nutrients the body can actually get. So having a clean functioning villi gets the body to absorb nutrients faster and it helps you to lose weight much faster. So automatically, the aloe concentrate is something you're going to recommend to your guys because a lot of times, if you have one of the tinnitus scales and you find that you put them on the scale and, they drink a lot of water, but the water reading super low, for a fact they have a digestive issue and, the aloe concentrate is something you're going to get them into. Then basically, I explain the glycemic index. Now, guys, understanding the glycemic index, I'm going to give you an explanation. If you can't understand, just Google glycemic index and you're going to get the breakdown of it. It basically manages your sugar levels and your insulin levels. Now, polycystic ovaries is a common syndrome a lot of women have. I currently have some doctors referring clients to me based on this. It's a hormonal imbalance in the body. A lot of women tend to be super overweight. They tend to have facial hair and it's very difficult for them to lose weight. The glycemic index balances understanding how to eat and balancing of that glycemic index basically helps with those hormonal imbalances. So in Trinidad, we tend to have too much carbohydrates in one meal, which is the rice, pastas, provision, and flour. You need carbohydrates for basically energy, but a lot of times a client would have a lot of excess fat that they're trying to get rid of. Fat is actually stored energy. So if we eat like the Trinidadian, which is the rice, the macaroni salad, the potato salad, the meat, the callaloo, the peas, and then we sprinkle lettuce, it's obvious we have too much carbohydrates in the diet. So carbohydrates break down into sugars, which provide the body with glucose for energy. The sugar levels would spike outside of the glycemic index, keeping your body sustained for between 10 to 30 minutes before the sugar level goes under the glycemic index. When the sugar level spikes, the body has no choice but to create insulin to counterbalance. When the insulin is peaking where the sugar levels is, the sugar level would already dip. And this is where in our country we say ethnic fatigue kicking, the niggeritis. They're stretching, they're yawning, they want to sleep. This is where the body would crave for something sweet to eat, something sweet to drink, a snack to nibble on, basically to spike the sugar levels back up, then the insulin is going to go up. They are creating a roller coaster. That roller coaster with the glycemic index, you're at a high risk of diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. It needs to stop. Skipping meals and taking too long to eat is something you don't ever want your client to do as well, because the sugar level goes under the glycemic index. And this is where they start to feel hungry, sick, upset, nauseous, headaches, woozy, and all the weird feelings. Based on those feelings, for the feeling to go, the body has no choice but to create sugars. And this is where your body would steal from the bone and the muscle to create sugars. And if the body is eating bone and muscle, remember we spoke earlier on, your body needs muscle to burn fat. Remember that. So if the body is eating bone and it's eating muscle, it's going to make it more difficult for your client to burn fat. And when it eats the bone and the muscle, it's going to spike the sugar levels on top, which is going to cause the insulin to go up, and it's the same roller coaster. High risk, diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, and that needs to stop as well. Right? Now, moving forward, a balanced glycemic index, we basically want your client to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours for general health. If they're trying to gain weight, 2 hours to 2.5 hours. Gaining weight is a little different based on the client's metabolism would be a little faster than someone who's trying to lose weight. So their eating times need to cut down. So to keep the sugar levels and the insulin levels at bay, eating every 2.5 to 3 hours is key. That is going to help with hormonal imbalances, speeding the metabolism up, general health. Then thereafter, I go into explaining the products. This is where you need to know what's in the products. Talk to your coach, attend the STS, understand what's in the products. You need to know it like the back of your hand, and then you go into the meal guide. Basically, what I tell my clients, I have a meal log I get them to fill out. Every single slot should be filled with food. I always start the day off with the shake, and then we move into how you design the program for that client based on their budget or even based on your recommendation. You give your recommendation first. If they have a problem with the cost is when you design it based on the budget they would have. All right, guys? So it's simple as that. Take pictures of this. Try and remember the point forms. Add your own flair to it. Thank you for having me.
All right, awesome. Anil, wow, great stuff. So this was so good, man, in terms of, you can use everything you just talked about in every type of a retail presentation. And in fact, we could change one slide, and this being almost on the millionaire team, it's not that much different in presenting the business, right? And so once you guys get this down, if some of this is new, I hope some of you are doing this, right? As you watch this, I see a couple of you live, but we're doing this to record this for you, right? So I hope right there in your living room, in your office, in your nutrition club, in your bedroom office, whatever, right? I hope you heard some of what he said. And as you're taking notes and maybe capturing some of the stuff on the screen, you're going, ooh, right? I hope that's happening for you. These little aha moments happening. Go, wow, that was really good right there. Right? So, Anil, I can tell you this. I didn't look at your presentation. I haven't heard this presentation from you. But I can tell you that, as you know, I have, retailed a little bit of product, right? So we have the 2 million lifetime achievement currently. And I can tell you that what you've just covered is exactly the key to how I have been successfully able to present the products, get new retail business, all of those things. Okay. So you're spot on, guys. So pay attention to, yes, the previous couple slides, but that last slide with the 7 points as Anna went down one by one and kind of expanded on those. Definitely watch this again. Go back and listen again if you're listening in the car. Make sure you guys get some notes on that, because those 7 components in your presentation, but being the way he talked about before, I would sum up everything Anil talked about before as one word: posture. Posture. It means how you're presenting yourself to the presentation. How are you showing up? What's your vibe like? Okay. And when we say you posture, it means you're taking a command presence. You are owning the situation. This is your domain. This is where you're the pro. This is what you do best. Okay. So just adding that on, sprinkling that on top of what you already heard from Anil, and then the 7 points of, what did you see in the 7 points, by the way? Oh my gosh, certain things done in a certain way. Did you see that? Did you see that he had 7 certain things? Did you see that he organized them? 1, and then we do 2, and then we do 3. Could you do all 7 of those and still do well? Yes, but you're not going to do as well as if you take the 7 that he gave you and you do them in the same order, the flow that he gave you. All right. So I'm just picking apart a few of these things to validate why he's having such success. Why are his numbers so good? Why are the people that he coaches to do this with? How are they duplicating this? Is because it's the certain things in the certain way. That includes part 1, how you're showing up and what your mindset is. Part 2 is what you do in the presentation. I will close with this before we, any questions or anything else you want to add, Anil, but this has been awesome. Great, tight, spot on training. And by the way, this is the same as in America, the same as in Europe, Asia, South America, TNT, and all the Caribbean, the same 7 things. Same. Okay. So it is true that, I liked how you touched on your culture, and I agree with that. Being with you guys now for about a year, a little over a year, I guess, in and out of the country, living among you, working in your clubs, beating the streets with you guys, doing events with you guys, and really understanding the business, building some business myself there. It is true that we need to take into context our culture. So if you're listening to this from America or maybe from some other region, use what Anil said in the opening few minutes about the particular culture in TNT and the Caribbean in general, right? The island culture, the Caribbean island culture, with each country having its own unique flair, but overall an overreaching culture that, very similar in many degrees. And he touched on that. What I would challenge you to do is, hey, listen, if you've heard that and if that makes sense to you, why don't you go back and pick out a few things about your culture, right? If you're not in TNT or in the Caribbean listening to this, what is it about where you live in America, right? Because America is America, but then it's just like the Caribbean. I guarantee you the culture in rural Alabama is way different than the culture, Keegan, in New York City, right? Right in Manhattan. Guaranteed, even though we're in America. So I think it's a great point. TNT, Jamaica, otherwise, Bahamas, America, Europe, like I said, take a minute for the first part of that and say, okay, what's important to me? What's important to me? What must I see? How do things work for me? Because if you turn around and you present things that way, you'll be amazed at the results. The one thing I want to close with, as I said, is this. I didn't hear you say this, Anil, and I'm not saying that because I think you should or should not have. I just want to make sure I add it in there. I think you'd probably concur with me once you hear it. Guys, when I walk into a wellness evaluation, let's just call it a retail presentation, okay? Because it doesn't really matter what you do. They're bringing you a problem. You're providing the best solution on the planet. And then it's up to them. Keep their problem or take your solution, right? So one is that mindset. Do you hear that? I am going to listen to you. I am going to block everything else out of my world for about the next 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is as we do the wellness evaluation. I'm going to sample you some products. I'm going to listen. I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to really understand your situation in about the first 10 minutes. And then the second 10 minutes, I'm going to give you my absolute professional recommendation. If you want to hire me to get you results, here's exactly what I would do for you. You heard Anil go over that. Okay? But here's what I'm not doing. I'm not on my knees. I'm not begging them for the sale. In fact, 180 degrees opposite. If I'm sitting down with someone or a certain group of someone's, like Anil said, I like group wellness evaluations too. It's a great way to leverage, okay? But be careful. Don't throw out one-on-ones, okay? Don't take what Anil said that way. Anil has found that he's got so many evals to do, and he's got such a big team and new people coming on, there is no way he could do all these evals one-on-one for himself and Kanita and to teach the team. So we got to group it up. Okay. So I would recommend do it in groups, do it in singles, do it however you like to do it. Certainly 2 or 3 or 4 gathered, like a little shake party type eval, right, is more leverage for you because you're talking to multiple people in the same 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. So obviously you get that. But whatever your style is, and certainly as things get busy and as you get duplicating, consider leveraging and doing groups if you haven't done that already. It's a lot of fun, and it does take on that group effect, the consensus, as Anil talked about it. Monkey see, monkey do. Who wants to get started? I love it. I love asking that question, Anil. Group of 3 people, 5 people, 8 people. Hey, who's ready to get started? I'm just waiting for one, because once I got one, I'm on them. What flavors do we want? I'm so excited for you. Everybody's watching this, right? And then all I got to do is turn around Keegan and say, who else is ready to get started? And you watch the hands, right? It's the consensus. It's the group effect. There's whole books written on that, by the way, okay? So that is a part of the human condition. So it's cool to use that. But do you understand, everybody I talk with, guys, when we sit down for a wellness profile, they didn't just like meet me for 10 seconds and book an eval. That's not how your flow is going either, right? They've come through some type of a process. And then they showed up at the appointment as the final step. So here's how I look at it. If they showed up to meet me on Zoom, on the phone, right? Let's go from best to worst. In a group or one-on-one in person. If they show up for that, or let's say that's not possible, so they show up on WhatsApp video or Zoom or FaceTime. Great, next best thing. We can see each other, okay? Get a little more energy going. And then lastly, but still okay, I built my whole business on this back in the day before we had these other technologies, and that's on the phone. If they show up for that appointment, here's what I believe. Number 1, they've got a problem they can't solve on their own. Number 2, I'm their guy. There is no doubt in my mind about these first 2 things at all. They've got a problem in their mind they can't solve on their own. They wouldn't be sitting in front of me if they solved it already. Okay? Many times it's, as I knock it off the wall, many times it's they've beaten their head against the wall. I'm knocking photos off the wall. Rebuild strength, yo, America. It's coming, TNT. Trust me. Anil, destroy me. So sometimes they've been beating their head against the wall, especially with weight loss. And as Anil said, even with weight gain, guys, I've helped several clients, far fewer than weight loss, but I've helped multiple clients that came to me and were so frustrated working out, spending money, trying to eat like crazy. I mean, their food bills and supplement bills and gym bills were outrageous, and they're not getting the results they want. So not getting those results, putting in the work, whether it's work to lose the fat, gain the muscle, improve the health, take down the track time, whatever it is, putting in that work and not getting results is called one thing, frustrating. So a lot of times, this is what I think. They've got a problem they can't solve. And they're frustrated. Okay? They're frustrated. Number 2, I'm their guy. Well, that immediately puts me in a position of I am the hope bringer. I am the solution man for this. I got this. We got you. We're the number 1 in the world. We got you, man. What took you so long? You know? And number 3, final, they're ready to buy. Number 1, they've got a problem they can't solve. Number 2, I'm their man. Number 3, they're ready to buy. That's it. That's the mentality I hold as I do everything Anil just described to you. Anil, would you agree with that?
Yep. Just something to add. Remember, guys, when you're closing a sale, there are things you should never see. The price and the cost. People love to buy, but they don't like to be sold. So key thing to remember, give them the total amount. You design a program and say, well, the total amount is, or your total investment is. I found it to be super helpful. It could be whatever. So like today I got one guy started, he spent 1,500 and something TT dollars in the blink of an eye by me saying the total amount is.
Right. Not the prices, not the cost is, but the investment or the amount. You're saying use those words. It makes a difference. Yeah, very good. And I guess there's one other thing I do want to add to that before we sign off, guys, because it's been super effective for me. Okay. I think the reason, and I'll just tell you, okay, my ratios started so you can see how I worked on this and how you guys are going to work on this. But I want to give you some hope. And I bet if Anil and Kenita gave you their numbers, they'd be pretty much the same. Okay. Because after about Get Team, Active World Team, Get Team, you're about as good as you're going to get at retailing. You know, you can't get everybody. You've got it down. You know what I mean? Certainly after 1 million lifetime achievement, I mean, come on, right? You know, you've done this, right? So you're going to improve little bits in many other ways, but maybe not on the, talk to 10 people and how many can you get as customers. You're about as good as you can get. So I started, you might want to jot this down or just kind of think about this, see these numbers in your head. I had to do 5 presentations on the products, wellness evaluations, and I would get 1 client on a program. I'm talking right now on the spot. I'm not talking about a week, a month later. Some would come back, of course, and get started. But right on the spot, 5 to 1. Okay? Then kept working. You guys like the Halloween Cup? It's been Halloween in America, right? So then it got to 3 to 1. Why? Because I learned some of the things Anil is sharing with you now. And so I saw my ratio. Look at that. I got twice as many customers with the same amount of work. Is that exciting? That's damn exciting to me, right? And I started teaching this to my guys, like Anil's passionate about teaching it. Now, guys, and Carlene and Keegan are on the line. They've seen me do this. It's not 1-to-1, but I bet it's probably close to Anil. Like out of every 1.5 people that I do it's not possible, right? But that's what the numbers say. Out of every 1.5, 1 is buying a program. So in other words, if I sit down with 3 people, 2 people are walking out of there with programs. Now, is that normal? Yes, with the caveat, after you've done it, quite a bit. After you've learned the things that Anil just said and you've incorporated those certain things in a certain way into your retail presentation, called the Wellness Eval today, right? But whatever that presentation is, I'm telling you, you guys incorporate these things, you win, okay? And the more you do it, remember, repetition is the mother of all skill. So the more you do it, the more you'll find yourself and you'll become, Keegan doing these points, Carlene doing these points, right? In your own way, but you'll do them. And you're already doing them. In this case, I know these guys' numbers, right? But for some of you guys that haven't added this stuff in yet, it'll make a monumental difference. So the one thing I want to say as we end up here, and Anil, I'll give you the final word and we'll wrap it here. This has been really good, okay? Both your training and then the little things that we've been kind of bouncing back and forth here on the video and on the audio. So one of the reasons I think my ratio is so good, guys, other than repetition, it's not me, it's something I'm doing and you can do it too. And that is, and Carlene and Keegan, I remember showing them this and I know they use it to this day. I start with my wellness evaluation. Talk to me about why you're sitting here. Like, I want you to pick up the problem and really look at it. I want you to get real familiar with your problem, okay? Because then I'm going to take it away from you and I'm going to show you how it's going to feel without all that crap. Show you how you're going to feel when you're 50 pounds lighter. I'm going to show you how you're going to feel. We're going to talk about it. right? So first I need to know, why are you sitting here? What is the problem? Okay. Second thing, share with me your typical day and what you're doing now. I got to know when you're getting up, when you're going to bed, what are you eating, when are you eating it, how much are you spending on it? Why? Because I can make the pitch with every athlete from an Olympian down to a high school age kid, right? Secondary school athlete on the Trinidad football team, right? Or on the cricket club. From that level of athlete to an Olympian. So every level, and every level of weight loss, and every level of health. Those are the only three reasons someone's sitting in front of us. Here's what I can do. I can make the pitch and the promise, and I can fulfill on it, that I bet you we can get you on an incredible nutrition plan for what you're spending on food or less. I bet I can take you as an athlete and swap out your stuff and help you get on a program for about what you're spending now on all your organic food and all your supplements you're using and all this stuff you're already doing. Okay? Now, if I can get close to that, are you really serious about getting started? Now, you're probably not going to sell $1,500 TT dollars worth of product. Okay, that's an ultimate program in America, a little better than $200, because that might not fit everybody's budget. Okay, so you want to just assess the situation, who you're talking to, but think about it with weight loss. It's the greatest pitch of all time with weight loss, in my opinion. I can help you lose all the weight you want for about what you're spending anyway to stay overweight. And they go, what? And I go, yes. And what is their attitude there? Show me. Now, like Anil said, they're open to the conversation. Now they're on the edge of their seat, leaning in, going, really? Yeah, how's that work? Tell me about that. Right? This is not some sales pitch. This is just connecting with them. And if you're coming from a place that they have a problem, that you are their problem solver, you absolutely, if they'll let you, you can solve the problem by helping them. And three, they're ready to buy. This is not a question of money. They wouldn't be sitting in front of you. They don't think this is free. You know what I'm saying? So I hope, guys, that mindset combined with Anil's awesome training and PowerPoint here that he and Kenita are using, I hope this makes a difference for you. Anil, final word before we say goodbye. Great job, man. Really appreciate you coming on and love what you're doing. And I can totally validate it's the reason for my success in retail as well. So anything you want to share before we go?
Yes, Tim. The 4-week challenge is something we really doing and promoting and pushing. No man is an island, so it's basically a bunch of coaches together supporting everyone's clients every 4 weeks through the process. In the 4-week challenge, your clients get meal guides, they get fasted cardio to do, they get workouts to do at home, they open to an online nutrition class. We have Casimira doing that class. Casimira is studying to be a dietitian, so she does the class every Sunday. And then based on all the coaches involved and the clients, we try to give them some amazing prizes, for living a healthy, active lifestyle.
Yeah. So is there a way, can we do a separate little training on just the 4-week challenge? We can talk about that offline.
No problem, whenever you're ready.
Cool. So guys, I just want to close with this. The 4-week challenge, you heard me open with it. We'll do another little micro training like this, a little 30, 40-minute module. So look for that and ask for that from your coach, the Trinidad and Tobago 4-week challenge. We can adapt it anywhere we are. When I saw it from what Anil and Kenita were doing, it's what a lot of us have experience with, but they've got a whole system. It looks beautiful. I mean, they are dialed in with the certain things in the certain way that make that work, just like the eval. So what's cool is no matter what method you're doing, we need to present the product. And so you've got the guts of that today with this training. How do I sit down with someone and present the product? And now, it's going to be learning the products and learning the prices. And you just got to do this several times. But this is the guts, or it's a polisher and a refiner for you that have already been retailing, to take your game to the next level. So Anil, thanks again. We'll cut a separate recording on the 4-week challenge system. They've got it down, so stay tuned for that. And thanks everybody for listening in, watching. Take care, everybody.